Good morning, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome. There we go. Sorry about that. I hit a button. Welcome to Stampin' Up with Jamie. It is Wednesday. I don't know what the date is, the 29th, I think, of March, 11 o'clock on the East Coast. And so this is my weekly live, although I had to skip last week. I missed you guys so much. But I'm back this week, and I have a new card that we're going to walk you through. And maybe you've been stamping forever and can tell me a thing or two. But I'm going to walk you through how to do a watercolor wash background. It's something super easy. I don't watercolor that often. My go-to coloring by far is the Stampin' Blends markers. I find them so easy to use and just so user-friendly for someone that's kind of like coloring illiterate like myself. But anyways, the watercolor wash is so easy. Anyone can do it, and you can really have a lot of fun. Just play with it, play with colors and techniques and all the things. So let's see who's here. Judy was here, and Sandy. Good morning, Karen, and Melissa, and Amy. All my friends are here. Good morning, everyone. I'm gonna do one quick just housekeeping announcement, and then we're gonna dive into the card. I don't want to take up too much of your time. But oh my gosh, you guys! Oh my gosh! Today, demonstrators get to see the 2023-2024 annual catalog. And if you follow any demonstrators, myself included, or anyone, it's all the everything everyone is talking about. It's all the buzz because color refresh is coming. It's always exciting to see. Well, it's the biggest catalog, and it's just so exciting to see like what's new, what retired. I usually like flip really fast through just to kind of absorb it like in a general sense, and then I take my time, and then I go back and go even slower and just analyze like what's new and all. So super exciting. I will be ordering catalogs beginning of April. If you have shopped with me and you are a customer of mine, by now you will have received 2 emails about annual catalogs. You will not automatically be mailed a catalog. You need to check that email. If you are a customer of mine and you say, I haven't gotten that email, or maybe you accidentally deleted it, please reach out to me. You will not automatically get a catalog. You need to read the email, okay? If you have placed an order of $75 or more through my store, you will automatically receive upgraded spiral bound catalog. So this is the current catalog. It's not the new one. I'm not giving any sneak peeks. I'm not giving anything away. But if I mail you a catalog, it'll look like this. It'll be a normal catalog, regular binding. This one is 184 pages. It's amazing. It's full of so much creativity and inspiration. If I find I'm a little lacking in the creativity department, I'd like to flip through a catalog and just see how Stampin' Up! Has used the product and the colors that they may have used and the cards outside of maybe a stamp set that I'm featuring. So I love looking through them. But orders of $75 or more are going to get the upgraded spiral bound catalog automatically, no extra free, just as a perk for me to say thank you. This is revolutionary. What a word. But it's so cool because you can fold it back on itself. You can open it up. You can fully analyze each page. You can lay it flat and flip through. It doesn't like automatically close on itself. I'm telling you, once you go spiral binding for the annual catalog, you will never not want the spiral binding. So anyways, that offer will end March 31st. So if you would like the free upgraded spiral binding of the catalog, get your orders in by Friday. Friday, I think, is the 31st. Hi, Tina. Hello, everyone. Good morning, Darcy. Oh gosh, is it Winning Canada? I've never heard of that. Good morning, Debbie in the Netherlands. 100% need spiral bounding for the annual catalog, right? It's like you become like this catalog snob in the very best, nicest sense of the word. Just, you need it. Like, it's just so much easier. I mean, okay, the regular catalog is nice. It's amazing. But like when you're flipping in these first couple pages, it's just going to close. I'm telling you, you need it. It's worth the $75 order. Plus you get $75 in product. It's not like I have to twist your arm to buy, like, I don't know, a can of worms. I mean, come on, you're going to get $75 in product and then like spiral binding. Okay. I digress. So the thought process behind today's tutorial actually started last week. So this is the card we're going to do. We're actually going to do two cards in one. It's my kind of card. But it started last week with this. Oh, hold on. Let me do this. My bad. There we go. Oh, and I'm crooked. Come on, straighten out. There we go. It's a little better. Okay. So it started off last week with this card. And honestly, I was torn showing it on my blog because I feel like the pictures like just don't do it justice. In person, it's really, really pretty. Even here, if I look at like what you see, it looks kind of like meh. But in person, it's really, really pretty. Maybe if I show it closer. Anyway, so I shared this card last week and a couple of people reached out to me. They're like, can we get a tutorial on how to do a watercolor wash background? And I couldn't do my live last week. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it again. It's so easy. I'm going to show you literally how you can make two cards at once. And I just realized I forgot to get that embossing folder out. But it's so easy to do. And, you know, it makes a really beautiful, like beachy, sounds like something else, beach themed, let's go with that, kind of background, but you can do it for anything. And I stuck with the same colors, and I'm going to walk you through kind of my concept behind colors and how choosing them and all the things. But I went with the same colors to show that you don't have to go beach with it. You can go floral, you can go whatever, and just, it's just a nice, if I don't want to color, like this is a lot of coloring in here. If I don't want to color, bam, watercolor background, stamp over it, call it a day. You can also do like a blending brush background would be awesome as well. The watercolor background just is a nice, it's nice. We'll leave it at that. So I'm playing this week with the Dainty Delight. Gosh, it's been on back order forever. It is back and available. Thank you, Stampin' Up. And what I like about this bundle is that the stamps are gorgeous. The dies are gorgeous. And together, they're like the perfect match. They're like, I was almost going to say, they're like David and Victoria Beckham. Does anybody know who they are? Anyways, they're like David and Victoria Beckham. They're like just a really nice match of beautifulness. So you have a couple of different sentiments, and I love, we have like really big, gigantic florals. We have smaller florals. We even have like this little bit of grass that you can do. And then the dies are amazing because yes, some of them will cut out the stamped images as they always do. But then we have these really great die cut images. And this, hands down, by far is my favorite. It's just like this cascading beautifulness and so pretty that you can mix and match. Ironically enough, for my cards, I don't know, it's just the way my brain works. I either went stamped images or I went die cut images, but I didn't mix them. I don't know. So this is my card today. My card yesterday, talk about coloring. Okay, this was like all the color, all the florals. This uses every single one of them. One is kind of hidden and tucked away, but I used all four of the images. I kept it pretty monochromatic. No one heard that. I kept it pretty monochromatic because I'm a less is more color girl. And if I'm going to like use bajillion florals, like I need like maximum 2 colors. There is pale papaya, but you don't really see it. It's mostly fresh freesia. So that was my card yesterday. This is my card today. Cards today. Tomorrow, Thursday. Yes, tomorrow is this guy. And I'm going to be really, really honest with you. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm going to redo this in a reel on Instagram. And I'm going to switch up how I do the flowers. They're all kind of like leaning. And what happened is I started from the right to the left and adhered them down. And I think next time I would start like with the center one and like work my way right and work my way left. But you'll notice I took that one. I should show you how I did it, but I'm just going to tell you. It's the same die cut. One's going this way and one's going that way. And what I did, now it's not ideal because you can still, if you look really closely, you can tell it's the negative side, right? This is the flip side. It's not the front, it's the back. But if you die cut and then take your bone folder and just kind of like press on the die cut image, you can smooth it out enough that you can flip it around and use the back side of it. So I didn't want all the flowers facing the same way. I want some this way and some that way. And so like this guy and this guy here, I just gave a good pressing, like a good ironing with my bone folder. And the same with the leaf stems to kind of make them go here, there, and everywhere. So that's tomorrow's card. And then Friday uses, oh, I love it so much, this guy. And I decided to make a wreath with it. You could also just kind of have it going one side and added these guys here, there, and everywhere. I love Petal Pink, Calypso Coral, and Sweet Sorbet together. I think they're very complementary. So great stamps. Love the dies. You can do so much. Okie dokie. Now, I forgot to get my embossing folder out. So just give me a second here. Give me a second. And I put, hold on. Oh, I moved my, hold on, give me a second. Oy, sorry, I totally forgot I didn't emboss ahead of time. My bad. Okay, so today is a twofer. We're going to make 2 cards at the same time. And, oh, I wanted to show you this. I forgot to show you this. Can I show you this quickly? So this uses 1 sheet of the watercolor paper. If you wanted to flip it around like this, I got like a little bit left over for this guy. I think it was, it had to have been at the end here. And, right? I guess. Anyway, so I cut it off and made another square card. I didn't share this over on my blog, but I didn't want to just throw away that little bit. I thought I could make a square card with that. So that's what I did. But this card, these 2 cards use 1 sheet of watercolor paper. So you're going to make 2 cards at once. My card base is the Oh So Pretty Pool Party. It's a favorite of mine. I just had my bone folder. Guys, I just had my bone folder. What did I do with it? Oh, goodness. I like showed it to you. Oh, I put it down here because that's where it belongs. So I took 1 sheet of Pool Party. I scored it at 5.5 and then cut it at 4 1/4. So you literally we're gonna make 2 cards at once. So easy. Okay, 2 card bases. Then I cut a 4 1/4 by 5.5. So this is a half a sheet of paper. I cut it at 5.5 and then cut it at 4 1/4 again. And this, the 2 pieces here, we're going to emboss with the Hive embossing folder. I really wanted to use one of the basics again, but I've been using it a lot and I thought I would switch it up so that you guys, I really wanted to use one of the basic ones again. Hello, Sonia. Good morning. But I thought the Hive was pretty. Like, I picture maybe a bee flying around. I think we have a bee image somewhere. I'm sure I could have stamped a little bee. That would have been super cute. Or if you had one of those retired, what were they called? Anyways, they were really cute little bumblebees. I don't know if they were bumblebees. Ooh. Okay, so 2 pool party bases, 2 pool party card fronts that each measure 4 1/4 by 5.5, and we're just going to adhere them over each other. Why? Oh, my light isn't on. Well, not that made. I had my phone on Do Not Disturb, but why do I feel like it just went off? Can you still hear me? Oh dear, I feel like my phone just went off, but I turned it on Do Not Disturb. Okay. I hope you can hear me. If not, I'm talking to myself. So if I'm adhering something that has a lot of texture, like this Hive embossing folder, like there's so much texture in this. It's so yummy. I'm going to glue it down with you can either use the Stampin' Seal Plus. My go-to is just a liquid glue. It gets in all of the little nooks and crannies, and it's super duper strong. It's not going to pop off on the card. It's going to make it nice and flat and not have it pucker at all. Okay, thanks, Judy. And keep everything where it should be. Okay. So there's our card pieces. Now, let's start watercoloring. I'm going to set these aside. I have a full sheet. Now, what is this called? Hold on, let me get it out. Fluid 100 watercolor paper. Stampin' Up! Sells this. It measures about 5 by 7. And I'm going to take a glass of water. I just have some sink water, nothing special. And our water painters. Now, water painters, they come 3 to the pack. One is like super fine tip. One's more of a brush tip. And then the one we're going to use, you could use any of them, but this just covers more ground, is like this wide brush. The other one is more of a fine tip. Let me just show you. Hello, Ramona. Oh, I do too. Oh my gosh. No, don't even, that's not even funny. I use Pool Party. It's probably like my most used color. So this is the most fine tip. I know it's blurry. It's not focusing. This one is like a fine tip brush. And then this is like a wide brush. And this is the one we're going to use. Now, you can unscrew this here and fill this with water and kind of, it says literally right there, push, and it will push the water down through these gears and into your bristles. I find it's not always effective. I'm trying to say a nice way of saying it doesn't work, but it doesn't really work. To be completely honest with you. So you can try that method. I find it really frustrating. The water doesn't always come down. So forget it. I'm going to take matters into my own hands. I'm just going to work with a little jar of water in my station. The next thing I'm going to do is grab, this is a D block. You could grab any block, or you could grab a paper plate, anything. And there's a couple ways you could go about doing this. I'm going to use our ink refills. I'm using Pool Party, Coastal Cabana, and Sahara Sand. You could also, I don't recommend it. Well, I shouldn't say I don't recommend it. You can do it, and this is how I used to do it. If you push the bottom and top of your ink pads together, it will push ink here so that you have like a glop of ink, and you could use your water painter and pick up that ink there. So if you don't have refills and you just have ink pads, you're just going to compress these two together and make the ink pad push onto this and like drop ink here. I'm not going to do that because I have the refills and there's no sense of dirtying up my ink pads, but that's literally, I did that for years and years and years. But I'm going to use a block. And so you don't need a lot, and you can always add more. Like, you don't need to load this up with one color. You're going to see how little I use. So I'm going to just, and you can always add more, and I might need more eventually. And I'm going to leave my ink colors, my ink refills, in the order that I've put them on my block, so I know what color is what. Because you can't tell that's Pool Party and that's Coastal Cabana. You can't tell. Now, when you're choosing colors to watercolor with, something to keep in mind is that the water will pull out whatever colors are in that color. So what do I mean? When I did this color, this here, I did Sahara Sand, Pool Party, Coastal Cabana, and then I wanted a little bit of Night of Navy at the top. And the video is probably not going to capture it, but in Pool Party, there must be some purple undertones because it actually looks purple. And that's why I didn't really like do it a lot. I saw it almost immediately. I was like, oh, I don't want purple. I wanted blue. So there must be purple undertones to that came out as opposed to the blue. So what I might suggest is that you take a scrap piece of, I have to sneeze, a scrap piece of watercolor paper, and you kind of play with your colors to see what undertones are actually going to come out, because you may think like Pool Party is going to give that nice deep blue, but you actually end up getting like purple. That's not really what you wanted. So anyways, I would suggest kind of playing with colors, or not really caring what colors come out, if you're working with something that you don't want ruined, right? Okay. Here we go. Fun time. So watercolor wash. I'm going to pick up a generous amount of water, and we're basically going to soak our paper. And I'm going to start with maybe about an inch, maybe inch or so. I don't know. We're going to play with how wide we want this to go. And I'm just laying down water, and I really want it nice and wet. The water is actually not going to be absorbed. I should have put something underneath. The water is not going to be absorbed. Hold on. I should have done this before. That was kind of silly of me. Oh well. The paper is not going to absorb the water. So the water is literally just sitting there on top. Whee! And then I'm going to pick up a little pool party. And I'm just going to touch, and you're going to see the water kind of come out. The color, excuse me, not the water, the color. And this is where you just have fun with it, depending on what look you want. You can even see here, the pool party almost has some green undertones to it. Oh, it looks so icky on your screen. It's really vibrant and blue for me. And I feel like it looks, what's that word? Not milky. It looks, there's a word. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of play with how I want color. And you'll see here on this one, like there's a little darker spot there. You just play with it. If I want to like a little bit of extra darkness or extra concentrated color, you can just kind of play with that. There's literally no right or wrong way to do this. I can see there's like blues and greens. So it's definitely like taking all the different hues that are in the pool party and having them kind of show through. Okay. That's pool party. Then I'm going to come on top and add more water. Lots and lots of water. It's very wet. Pick up some Coastal Cabana and just let it come out. Oh, that's so cool. Hello, Debbie. I don't want lines. I want to smooth that out. So just, and I'm going to blend it with my pool party. Oh, I just realized. Nope, I have it plugged in still. And then maybe I want a little bit more concentrated color. Now remember, this is going to be 2 cards. So whatever I do on this side is not going to show up on the other card. So make sure you, if you want it darker on one side, that you do it darker on both. I want a little bit more pool party. Just picking it up. I may need more water. If you want more like this, like darker spots, just don't have as much water. If you want more of just a background, load it with water. Now for my, oops, not really what I wanted to do. For my sample card, I didn't really blend it out, but let's blend it out a little bit. Oh, excuse me. Oops, I have a little fuzzy there. I have a fuzzy, go away. Okay. Now, for the Sahara sand, I'm going to do the same thing for the bottom. If you really didn't want them to blend, you would dry the blue, dry the pool party and the Coastal Cabana, and then add the Sahara sand. So you can add colors that don't blend. You just have to make sure the one is dry before you add the color, but I don't care. I kind of want them to see how there's a little green under that, and that under almost like a little olivey looking. Oh, it looks so not bright on your end. On my end, it's really cool. And the other thing, I got up on my nose. Of course, it's a Wednesday. It wouldn't be a Wednesday if my nose didn't start running. Another color I hope stays is Coastal Cabana. Yes. I'm so sorry for having to do that. Muted? Probably that was the word. I even forgot what I was saying. The colors are brighter now than they will be. So when they dry, it will be not so vibrant. Okay. I think we're good. Are we good? So interesting that Pool Party has like literally blue spots and almost like mint macaron spots. Oops, I almost went into Coastal Cabana instead of Pool Party. Okay. Now, you could do one of two things. This, by the way, is just, you're going to take a paper towel. It's water-based ink. So it just, as long as you have water on your paper towel or run it under the sink, it'll clean right up. Ta-da! Now, one of two things. You could set that aside and let it just air dry. Hello, Vicky from Arizona. Or we're going to speed this process up and do a little drying. So this might take me a second, so just bear with the noise. I'm just going to use a heat tool to dry it. Talk amongst yourselves. You do want to make sure it's really, really dry. Where is it? The black isn't stays on. At least I didn't use stays on. So if it's not completely dry, the memento is just going to smear. It's going to become watercolor. So you want to make sure it's pretty dry. Ooh, it's so pretty. I think we're good. Now, at this point, if you didn't like it and you wanted more vibrant color, you could do the same thing. Just go over it with water again and add more color. It will build and you'll get sort of different swirls, because something you can do. Oh, my nose is so itchy right now. I'm sorry. So one thing you can do is, oh, my eye. I got some, I'm a mess. Okay. I wasn't going to show you this, but why not? So something you can do, I need color. I need color. Okay. Is like really load up your paper with water. Like, woo, there's so much water on this. Okay. Like an absorbent amount of water. You could also, again, keep going over that one that you have and build color. But you can see how there's so much water. Okay. I'm gonna leave that. Do I dare leave that like that? And then when you bring your heat tool, it's gonna swirl. It gives a, oh, I almost put my finger in that. It gives a really cool effect as the water, see how the water is moving around? And it's gonna leave like swirly marks. That is very hot. I should have put my fingers lower. So, I don't know why it's not going in that one spot, but it's not. Okay, that's like 90% done. I'm not going to sit here all day. But see how it leaves like swirly marks? Woo, that's so cool. I don't know. I don't dare get my thing. I don't know why it's not pushing into that circle, but it's not. But anyways, if you load it with water and then use a heat tool to kind of move the water around, it's not going to go outside of where you haven't put water. It'll stay put there. It'll just kind of keep swirling around. And then you get this really cool, almost like marbled look. And then you could do it again. So like have this completely dry, load it with water again, do more ink, swirl the colors around. You can do other colors and different and the same colors. I mean, it's just really, really artistic and cool. And I love it. Now I got to figure out what I'm going to do with this because I really like the way it looks. Okay, so I'm just going to get that off because knowing me, I'm going to put my elbow in it. Hold on. And I'm really nervous about this. I'm going to put this on the floor. Watch me trip over it. I would too. I really, really would. Okay, so I said this was 5 by 7. So we're going to cut it in half at 3.5. Okay. And we're going to stamp the big gigantic floral. And I'm going to use the Stamparatus. And I'm going to use the Stamparatus because the watercolor paper has a lot of texture in it. And sometimes it's hard to get a really good coverage stamp, if that makes sense. Even if I was using StazOn, I'm going to use the Memento, but even if I was using StazOn, there's so much texture. I don't know if the camera picks it up, but you can actually see the texture on the card. There's so much texture in it that it's really hard to stamp once and have it get a good coverage. So I really recommend using the Stamparatus. And I'm going to kind of mark where I am, because I'm going to do them both, and it's no sense in. I think I have to turn it. Yeah, I have to turn it. So that's the corner. So flip it around, pick up my stamp. This ink pad underneath only serves a purpose to give a little bit of cushion behind the stamped image so that when I'm inking it up, I'm not, see how that doesn't really, that's, oops, I can't get it any closer. It's just not a very good stamped image. I mean, it's okay. It's just can be better. And I did this probably 10 times. I'm going to tell you right now. I just kept going over. Just got my first water brush. Excited to use it soon. Yay! That's super exciting. So much you can do. World, sky's the possibility. Okay, I think that's good enough. Oh, sugars. It was there, right? Wait, was that it? Yeah, okay. So that's that. I'm going to put the other one down in the same exact spot because I liked where it's stamped. It's stamped well. Might as well do it in the same exact spot. But let me make sure there's no magnets in my way. Okay. So see how easy it is to make 2 of these cards at once? I mean, if you're going to go through the hassle, it's not a hassle. If you're going to go through the pleasure of watercoloring, don't waste any of it, right? Like if you end up using just like an extra little bit, make a square card, make a note card, make a tag, make something. Don't just throw it away. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, let's get rid of that. Take this off. I'll clean that later. We're done with that. Okay. So we have our 2 things. I'm going to mat them on a piece of basic black, which is 1/8 bigger. So it should be 3 5/8 by 5 1/8. You know what? I'm going to use liquid glue because this is warped a little bit and I want to try and get it to lay as just about as flat as I can. I think I did that for my sample too. So I'm going to use liquid glue. It's going to hold it a little stronger and better than the seal will. Give it a good smear. You like that? It's pretty, right? Nice. Oh, I just realized I didn't. Oh, well, I guess we're going to do it on the black. So I wanted to add like a little bit of extra artistic touch. And so I used a Wink of Stella brush to just add some speckled to add a speckled touch to it. You don't have to do this. In fact, the Wink of Stella right now is, I don't even think is available. I went to check because mine is very much on the low side and I need a new one. But you could also use our, maybe that's what I'll do instead. Hold on. You can use a black Stampin' Right marker. You're going to use the brush end of it and just sort of flick it across against, it's very faint, flick it against the cap. Can you even see that? I bet you can't even see that. Oh, a little bit. It's there. I promise. Yeah, it's just like another artistic touch as opposed to kind of having a blank background. You can use the Stampin' Write markers. You can use the Stampin' Blends markers. If you have a Wink of Stella, you can use a Wink of Stella. That's what I did for my sample here because it actually, I don't know, it picks up. No, there we go, a little bit. It just reflects a little bit of beautifulness. Okay, next for my sample card, I tied around some pool party ribbon. I'm dangerously low on that ribbon. So I figured I have black in my mat. I'll bring in some of this black and white gingham, which I love so much. It's so pretty. And I'm going to make a big chunky, well, I guess this won't be as big and chunky because it's thinner, but bow. I'm going to make a bow. You know how I feel about it. I don't like making bows, but there is a purpose for them. Come on. And every now and then I can look past how frustrating they are to make for the good of the card. How good of me, right? So I like big chunky bows. I do. Like oversized, big long tails. It's my favorite. Now, if you tie a bow and it's a little loosey-goosey, this one isn't that bad. But what I like to do, yeah, it's not available. Yeah, I saw that. Is I put a little bit of adhesive on the back and then I scrunch my fingers together. And that little extra piece, like bit that makes it loosey-goosey, kind of gets stuck there. And then it's nice and taut. So if you're making your bow and you find it's a little loosey-goosey, don't worry. I know tying bows are so hard and making sure they're nice and tight is even harder. Just tie it. Just focus on tightening a nice bow and then worry about tightening it after. You can always do that little trick that I do of putting adhesive on the back. Making the bow look pretty is hard enough. You can focus on tightening it after. Like this one's really loose. Holy cow. Like that is a big old gap there. No big deal. Put a little adhesive, scrunch your fingers together. It'll get caught on that little piece and it's nice and taut again. Okay. Okie dokie. We are making progress. So where are my card bases? There they are. One card base, two card bases. And do I have enough dimensionals? It's going to be tight. No, I'm good. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. Dimensionals because why not? And there's that ribbon. It may not lay flat anyways because of the ribbon. So the dimensionals just, and they give a little bit of lift. So pretty. Okie dokie. I mean, is there ever an occasion that you don't want to use dimensionals? I personally can't think of one. Not me. When in doubt, use dimensionals. Okay. We're making progress. Now we're going to do the sentiment. I pulled it. I wanted a thin sentiment. So the Dainty Delight, they have some nice ones. I guess this would have been nice, but the best is yet to come. I think of like graduation, wedding, retirement, like something like a celebratory. Not that I don't want to celebrate, but it's not necessarily the kind of card I wanted to send. So I pulled in the sending smiles, and there's a couple of freestandings. Obviously, it's supposed to go with sending, but a card to say hello can totally just be by itself. So that, and I did it in Memento Black. I'm going to need 2 of them. Oh, that's not, hold on. It was not straight. It's not straight. That's better. So 1, 2. I mean, if you're going to go through the hassle, I mean, amazing fun. Might as well make 2 cards. I'm going to swap out my embossing plates for my die cutting plates. And then there are dies, if I can remember where I put them. They're stuck everywhere. I love dimensionals. They're the best. And they're so inexpensive. That's why I love them. Because they add such a really cool touch to a card, and they're so cheap. I mean, inexpensive. They're high quality. Okay, so the sending dies, again, it coordinates with that stamp set. They have 2 sizes. So there's a shorter one and then a longer one. The shorter one does the job, so let me cut these out. Okay, there's one. And then these guys I adhered with mini dimensionals. Ooh, I almost knocked over my garbage. That would have been bad. And I'm only going to put maybe 2 or 3 kind of to the left because it's going to overhang a little bit. And if I put it all the way to the edge, it's not going to lay flat. So only kind of to the left. Whoops. Pull the backings off. Oh my goodness. Now, if you are watercoloring, like watercoloring an image, you want to stamp an image and you want to color it in, you're going to have to use Stays On, which, there it is. You're going to have to use Stays On. Don't use Memento Black. Memento Black, so you want to use opposite mediums. If you're watercoloring, you want to use an alcohol-based ink. If you are using alcohol markers, you want to use a water-based ink. You want to use opposite mediums. So if you are going to watercolor, like a full image, I feel like that should have had one more dimensional. You're going to want to use Stays On. I'm going to do a little surgery. I always imagine I'm a surgeon when I do this. So if I want to tuck in a dimensional, maybe because I didn't think I needed another one, but then I decided I did, like this case, I put it at the end of my scissors and I just slide it under and then open them up. Scalpel. That's what it reminds me of. Okay. I guess you really didn't need 4 if I had spaced them out a little better, but oh well. You will see the watercolor paper isn't a true white. That's okay. You notice it next to the white. You can see how much that white pops next to it. And then I didn't do anything special, but I'm going to finish the cards while we're together. I just cut 4 by 5 1/4 inserts. I don't have anything stamped on them. I don't have any plan for them, just to pop them on the inside is all. I'll figure out something later, maybe. It always depends on who I send the card to, or if I send it to a customer, I leave it blank for them to choose what to do on the inside. I didn't add any sort of embellishment. You could add pearls, would be really pretty. Something with a little bling would be really nice. But there's a lot going on between the color, the ribbon, the speckled, the Hive embossing folder. So that's how I left it. Okay, that wraps up today. Ooh, look how it's drying a little bit more. See how that's really pretty. I'll have to figure out what to do with it. That ends today. Guys, thank you so much for joining me, learning how to do a watercolor wash background. I'm going to drop my link. jamieb.com is my catch-all link. You can shop with that link. You can join with that link. All my social media links are there. You can send me an email from there. Get your orders in of $75 by this Friday to get the upgraded spiral bound catalog. You're going to thank yourself later. If you have any questions, certainly reach out to me. I love to help. Never a bother. Truly, truly, I love to help in any way I can. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next week. Happy stamping, everyone. Bye-bye.